Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Fat Cat, and this is the channel where I go into the topics of spirituality, sound healing, astrology, music production, self-development, and so much more. Now today I want to get on here because there's something that was bothering me. It was really bothering me, and this is after all the season of Aquarius, and that's probably why this is really bubbling up to the surface. So I felt like I need to talk about it. Okay, and what is this topic going to be today? The topic today is going to be about the dark side of spirituality. Okay, how spirituality in today's day and age is getting commodified, is getting appropriated, is getting misappropriated, I should say, is getting misused, is getting diluted, is getting suffocated, is getting whitewashed. Okay, now spirituality in the purest form is your personal connection with spirit, with source, with the divine, with the holy, with the inexpressible. Okay, with the cosmic all, right? With the wonder, with the sublime. That's spirituality at its true core. Okay, it does not have a set of rules and regulations. It does not have a structure that you need to climb through, or that you need to kind of hack, that you need to figure out or build upon in order for you to connect to that divine source, that divine nectar, that soma. Okay, this soma energy, the etheric energy, the high, the prana, the living life energy is within us, is without us, in everything at all times, like that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, right? What a wonderful movie, what a brilliant display of spirituality without any sort of without using any sort of language of so-called spirituality or religion. That movie itself is spiritual. Why? Because everything everywhere all at once is love. And what is happening a lot, I have noticed, with social media, with the culture in general these days is, and it has happened with me. Now I never speak about topics unless it's bothering me, unless I have become a sort of victim to it. Okay, and I need to first say that, I need to first express that, because I'm not here to kind of come on and tell people they're wrong, or come on and say that society is wrong. I'm looking at my own troubles, I'm looking at my own problems, I'm looking at those spaces where I am using spirituality as a sort of like, it's a green flag, but it's not a green flag, it's actually a red flag, and I'm just deciding to choose it as a green flag and use it. That's a misappropriation, and that is happening culturally, especially through social media. So we see all these posts, right? There are so many posts going around on Instagram, even on YouTube, about you need to boss up, and people who are not meant to be in your life will drop away, and love and light, and if you're in that vibrational alignment, then nothing can harm you, nothing can hurt you, you are untouchable, and you will only attract the best things to yourself. Now, in all honesty, I agree with that. Okay, I believe that, I understand where that's coming from. The problem is when we start appropriating it in such a way, sorry, the problem is when we start appropriating it in such a way as to make ourselves right, where you're using all this knowledge that is in its very diluted form, floating around in the information spheres, and you are just picking on the things that suit you. You're just picking on those things that validate your ego, that already validate your thinking process, and you're shoving it. You're like, this is what I believe, this is what I believe. This is a lazy spirituality. This is non-spirituality. It is laziness, it is complacency, and it is a stubbornness to not look at oneself and one's own flaws, and it is going to create a problem in one's own evolution. Okay, it is actually going to become a block for you in growing up. And actually those growing pains are so important, right? When your teeth comes out, especially the wisdom tooth, when the wisdom tooth is coming out, like, it hurts, right? There is a reason why it hurts, because that growth of that wisdom also involves that pain that's coming out. Okay, and the same thing with any kind of spiritual knowledge. It's very easy to read something and be like, I agree with this and I'm going to appropriate it, but are you understanding it within your body, not just on a mental space? Are you understanding it within your body? Are you actually applying it in your real life? How much are you applying of it, and how much are you professing it? So all these questions start coming up around spirituality, and that's where I feel it gets dark. That's where I feel it gets murky. And that's where I feel it leads to you just fueling your own ego and for the egoic, selfish purposes, versus it actually expanding the person and allowing them to evolve and grow through that discomfort, through the growing pains. So I feel like a huge part of understanding something spiritually is sitting in the pain. It is accepting. It is like, okay, this is what is going on, like this is truly what is happening. I'm truly in a dark place, I'm truly in a confused space. Accepting that, admitting that, revealing that, showing that, and being like, and it's okay. I'm in a very dark space, I'm in a confused space, and it's okay. Because only through that experience does the depth within you increase. Only through that experience are you going to actually become fuller and real. So it's so important to keep it real when you're being spiritual, and not kind of getting carried away along this commodified, the smoke of commodified spirituality. Don't let that carry you away, because that is not real. That's just gas, that's just vapor, that's just smoke. And as smoke does, smoke is just there for a moment and then it's gone, it's diluted, it's lost in the ethers completely. That is all you can gain from the kind of new age spirituality that is, commodified and simplified and like floating around the information sphere nowadays. It cannot teach you true spirituality. Okay. And as I said, first and foremost, this is for me because I use that, I appropriate it, and I'm starting to see that that's a real problem. That's a real problem, because it starts disconnecting you from the real world. It starts disconnecting you from what is real spirituality. And real spirituality is about inclusion, it's about connection, it's about the discomfort of connection as well, because sometimes when you're colliding with somebody else's ideas and thoughts, they may not agree with you, they may have a completely different point of view, and accepting that it's okay, being totally at peace with that difference, even being curious about that difference, rather than being like, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, I'm a spiritual being, I'm a vegan, I'm this, I'm that, because recently something happened to me as well. Okay, somebody had invited me to this vegan, I'm not going to mention the place, but I am disappointed, so I'm going to mention this. Okay, recently I was invited as a sound healer to perform at this vegan festival. Okay, and I told him very clearly that I'm pro-vegan, and I have been vegan for a while, but lately I'm not 100% vegan. Although I lean towards it, I want to return back to that place, but there are places where I slip up. And you know what they told me? They said, then you cannot participate in this program because you are not 100% vegan, and the only people who can perform here are 100% vegan. We are very sorry for the misunderstanding, we didn't inform you earlier. Now the problem is, okay, firstly, they didn't inform it right at the beginning. Secondly, why do I have to apologize for being who I am? Whether it's 20% vegan, 100% carnivore, I'm actually saying that because I'm against eating animals, okay? And I don't even like eating animal products. But the point is not that. The point is a point of exclusion. You are now excluding people. Even the people who are aspiring to be vegans are getting excluded in the process. You're making it an elite club. You are creating barriers around something that is supposed to be spiritual, that is supposed to be love and light, that is supposed to be compassion and kindness flowing. You're making that into a club of, okay, only the kindest people are allowed in this club. Only the most strictly disciplinary vegans are allowed in this club. Does it even make sense anymore? Where is the spirit of community? Where is the spirit of connectivity? Where is the spirit of critical thinking and discernment? Where is the spirit of actually having that discussion and debate and seeing two sides of it? I mean, this is a clear case of cognitive dissonance, right? Cognitive dissonance is when you have a certain set of beliefs, okay, and opinions, and you're so enmeshed in it, you're so cemented with your own thoughts and beliefs, that when you have an opposing belief or thought that comes and collides with you, you just repel it. You don't even give it a chance to like show itself. You don't take a moment to understand it, to think about it. Even if you go back to your own opinions at the end of the day, there should be a space for you to think about that other opinion, to be like, that's also one way of seeing the world, or like believing or expressing. But what is happening lately is the cognitive dissonance is so high among people because people have their phones, they have their social media, they have their tailor-made beliefs and opinions served to them on a platter, because the AI is already detecting everything that is tailor-made for you and it's giving that to you on a platter, and you are becoming a sheep who is just eating the grass that is being given to him rather than exploring all the other plants and berries and fruits that maybe would actually be more stimulating for you as a sheep. Maybe you would connect with it better. Maybe you would get better juices, better vitamins and proteins and minerals out of it. But instead of that, you're just taking the grass that is being given to you and you're eating that grass. That's literally what's happening with social media and spirituality lately. And it's so disappointing. And it's scary because it's so easy to get sucked into that. As I said, I myself get sucked into it sometimes. So it's so hard not to get sucked into it because it makes everything easy. And the question is this easy route better? And my answer to that is never, 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 never. Easy is good when it's natural, when it's organic, when it's coming from your body, like when it's coming from that coherence of mind, body, soul, then things are easy. That's right for you, you're in alignment, that's amazing, that's wonderful. But easy in the sense of processed foods, in the sense of tailor-made, social media posts and like quotes, that's really harmful, that's really toxic. The cancel culture, the toxicity culture, this talk about narcissism, so much of that is so diluted and there's so much cognitive dissonance around it that it makes no real sense anymore. It only gives you a sort of hiding place. It just gives you, like, you can just have your own fortress with all the walls around it and be like, these are my opinions, these are my views, I am better than you, I am holier than thou, and this is what it is, and I shall not budge. It's creating that kind of a culture. It's creating real selfishness, not the good kind of selfishness where you're taking good care of yourself, you value yourself. It's creating a kind of selfishness where you are literally not open to the opinions of anyone else. You're literally not even open to receive their information or their knowledge. You're just like, this is what it is for me and this is it, and it is starting to get really bad. It is creating a culture that is incredibly self-absorbed, that is incredibly blinded and blinkered, and it is creating a culture where the ego is super hyper inflated, not to mention the extreme narrowing of the attention span. It's already happened, right? We are already fused with our phones and the technology, so everything is already being given to us. We don't have to tell time is being told to us, right? Most of the things can be already what is that word, you can ask your see, it's already happening to me. You can ask Alexa to tell you things, right? You can ask Google to tell you things. Everything is just there at the fingertips, to the point where it's where is the real authentic you anyways anymore? That's the question. Where is it? Is it even alive, or has it gotten submerged in this deluge of the ocean of information in the information age that we live in? Has it completely gone silent? Like, it's really an important question. It's an important question to ruminate on, to think upon. And it's important to always question. That's the important thing as well. It is important to question anything and everything at all times, because only then are you truly alive, only then are you actually evolving. Because if you are not questioning, you're taking things for granted, you're getting complacent, and you're holding on to dead things. And that can apply to anything. It can apply to veganism, it can apply to new age spirituality, it can apply to like meditation, it can apply to sound healing, it can apply to minimalism. any of these isms, any of the isms that somebody's clinging to and believing and is like fighting for, like, if you're not questioning that ism that you inhabit, if you're not constantly evolving on those isms, if you're not constantly changing up those isms that you inhabit or that inhabits you, you are already not moving, you're already stagnating. Your ego has taken over in a complacent format. That is the real truth, and that's the truth that hurts. That's the truth that people do not want to accept. That's the truth that people are just like, oh, I don't want to even look at that, because it's making me uncomfortable. Oh my god, this just triggered me. Hello, in this day and age, everything is going to trigger you because you have made your life so small and narrow and tailor, like it's become so streamlined to the point that anything and everything will trigger you and can trigger you. Allow things to trigger you now. Like, allow things to trigger you and allow them to show you what you're missing out on, or allow them to show you the other side of things. Allow that trigger to make you uncomfortable. And I'm not talking about these triggers that make you so uncomfortable that it's literally hurting you and you want to, like, you want to, like, it's harming you or hurting you. I'm not talking at that level of triggers. Obviously there are steps then, right? If something is so intense for you, there are steps to deal with it. There's steps to become comfortable with it. There's steps to kind of accommodate it. Or maybe you can never accommodate it because it's too painful, and that's fine too. But making every little thing a trigger, making every little thing less than who you are in this egoic knowledge of your spiritual self is not spirituality at all. Just reminding you guys, reminding myself and reminding you guys, that is not spirituality and that is not evolution. And spirituality is nothing without your evolution. It's nothing without you growing. It is not spirituality at all in the form that we are being served on these silver platters all over social media. It's not. So just for me and for you, I'm inviting you guys to break this bubble of spirituality, okay? This so-called this is pseudo spirituality, okay? This so-called spirituality, which is based on exclusivity, which is based on exclusion, which is based on only your comforts and your comforts alone, that is not spirituality. Which is based on appropriation, which is based on cognitive dissonance, it is not spirituality, okay? That is not spirituality. It's the last thing. It is the last thing that spirituality actually is, okay? So I'm just inviting you to break that bubble, to come out, to smell the flowers, to smell the shit, everything, smell everything, take it all in. Don't just smell the roses and be like, yeah, I just want the roses, like, I don't want any of the other flowers. I don't want to smell the soil. Like, I don't want to get my hands dirty. I just want the roses, the perfect roses, and the perfect smell of the roses. That is not spirituality. And if you are trying to tailor make your life to just be roses, it's going to come crashing down, and you're going to have to smell the shit, a lot of shit. That's really, then you're going to feel spiritual. Then the spirituality is going to start entering your blood vessels, your veins and stuff, because then you're going to be like, okay, that now I feel real, now I'm awake because I'm smelling the shit as well. Okay, so just that reminder to break that bubble. There's something very important also that I wanted to say, and I kind of forgot, which happens a lot to me nowadays. I'm working on it. And yeah guys, I know this was a bit of an intense video, but I felt like I need to speak about it for myself and for also others who are on a similar path. Don't ever get fooled by this surface level stuff that is called spirituality. The minute you smell the exclusion, you already know something is going wrong there. Please question at all times. It's very, very healthy to question. Only through questioning, only through countercultural movements, only through contrarian opinions can there be synthesis. Can there be alchemy? Can there be evolution? Without those opposites coming and merging and then evolving, that's evolution, right? You have a yes, you have a no, and the yes and no come together, and you're like, something new is born. That's where we're constantly reaching towards, and that process never ends. You can't get complacent and sit on this middle ground. Now that middle ground will also split into a yes and no, and again it's going to evolve. That evolution is continuous. It's continuous, and you have to, the reason why we question is so we can keep up with that continuity. It's like those DNA strands, like it's always changing, it's always evolving. Somebody has come. Okay, so this was my message. Okay, please be well, my loves. Subscribe if you like my content, like if you like my content, and see you later. Bye.